Alright, well, we're back. I don't know for how long, but we're back. Starting to get into the swing of things and been playing around at the junk auctions, and I won this mint unit, which is the rear 16 feet of frame and drivetrain from a 1997 39-foot diesel pusher motorhome that the front burned and got abandoned and ended up getting towed to a city's lot. They tried to get rid of it as a whole unit. That didn't work, so they cut the whole body off of it, threw that away, and kept the heavy part. So I got it for a couple of $100. Had to go pick it up yesterday. Also, helicopter. Also got the set of 4 Alcoas that were on the unit. They're actually in really nice shape. Tires are pretty old. They're 2010 or 11s. But the wheels are excellent. Tires actually are really good. They've got good tread on them, even these nightmares. 275 70 R22 and a halves. These are not small. This thing is a beast. It's an 8.3 liter Cummins. It was originally rated at 250 horse back in the day. It's got a P pump. So if I wanted to try to start it, I probably could, but I don't know if it's in gear, and I don't need it rocketing off the the trailer, because this thing is heavier than I anticipated. I rebuilt the trailer. As you can see, it's kind of painted, got new lights on it, got new deck, and I actually put a little winch on it, Harbor Freight 5500 Special, which functioned remarkably well. With the snatch block, it was able to pull this disaster on here. I have no idea what this weighs, but it is not light. We made it home. Had a little bit of tire rub because I had the front end on the trailer down a little bit. Tire was just rubbing the fender a little bit. Cooked my new paint. Nothing serious. I did get a warning from somebody who was driving behind me, and we checked it. We didn't find it at the time. But at the next rest stop, we saw the little burn mark, so it didn't affect the tire, but I put a higher hitch on it, and that clearanced that for the rest of the trip. But she rode good. This has got to be, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 pounds easy. It is massive. One of the things I had to figure out how to do was cage the brakes, because they're air brakes and they were locked. This is the brake cage bolt that's actually bolted into the side of the thing right over here and right over here, and they were still there, thank God. So we were able to get that in, crank those, and the wheels broke loose just enough to get it up the ramps and get it on here. Then this one locked up again, but it slid, as you can see. Just fine. It was raining like living hell yesterday. And it was kind of a nightmare in that sense, but by the time we were about half done loading this mess, it was done, and the rain had stopped. I believe these are Bilsteins, maybe, I don't know. Doesn't matter. They're going into the dumpster. The jacks, the hydraulic jacks, are still there. All sorts of stuff. I don't even know what. I brought the original boards from the trailer, thank God, because what I ended up having to do, since it only has 2 wheels, is I put the boards, with Dad's help, under the thing. We jacked it up, set it under it, and used those just as skids to drag it up on there. And then we used them to sit the back end on so it wouldn't have to be smashing my new deck. But it did pretty good. I think the only damage I got to the deck was from this guy. She was a little jammed and she dug in a little bit, but that's what trailers are for. This thing is massive. I did not truly understand how big this was going to be. Trailer towed fine. Everything's good. Brakes actually unlocked a little bit, like I said. So what I think I'm going to do now, I want to know how heavy this whole unit is, this thing, because it Probably got about 12 miles to the gallon on the way home. We were doing the speed limit. Got about 17 on the way there. But she is a beast. Turbo spins free. As silly as that is, the Turbski spins free. But what I think I'm going to do on this one today and tomorrow, get ready for getting rid of it on Monday, is there's a fair bit of big aluminum stuff, like the alternator, that intercooler over there, and maybe the compressor for the air conditioning and other little things. But I'm going to strip some of the non-ferrous stuff off and recycle that separately, because that's worth a little more money by itself. Additionally, there's a bunch of wire. It's not great, but it's heavy. So I'm going to go through and pull all the wire off and just recycle that as a bundle to see what that's worth. I think that's worth more than steel scrap, even if it's just junk wire like that. So that's going to be the goal. And then this sucker's going to the scrap yard. But the wheels I'm going to try to sell separately, because they are really, really nice. They're 22.5-inch Alcoas, and there's two more in here. Yeah, everything made at home fine. As you can see, this was probably a northern vehicle, because she is crusty. Story was it burned and was abandoned, and it was junk, so they had to pay to tow it to the lot. And there we go. But yeah, it worked. We got her home. So now I think what I'm going to do is take this whole massive monstrosity and run through the scale, which is about 10 miles away, just to see what we got and go from there. So yeah, we'll keep you posted. We'll let you know what that turned into. See you all in a bit. All right. Well, ooh, yeah, a McLaren? I think it is. Interesting. Anyway, heading through town. I could go the back way, but I want everybody to get the full experience of this disaster. Oh, God, our roads suck. Truck's riding good. Engine brakes are fantastic. Trailer brakes are working good. The lights seem to work. So, yep, we're going to keep on going. We will see you when we get close. Well, we're getting there. Up and over the train tracks. Hope she makes it. Yep, yeah, we made it. All right. And more train tracks. And some more train tracks. These are always fabulous. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, good Lord. Ow. Ooh, ah, whoa. Oh, that was bad. And the truck. That gas station in the distance is where the scale is at. So, pull in there, and hopefully the automatic system works. Oh, and another set of drain tracks. Oh, goody. This is how we deal with speed limits on our roads down here in Louisiana. We don't modify the speed limits. We just make the roads really, really freaking bad. So if you do the speed limit, you lose parts. This one's not as bad. Now, ugh. This is much smoother with a trailer like this on it than otherwise. This thing is a very, very stiffly sprung beast. Set up for 14,000 gross on the truck axles, and then we'll see what we end up with total. I really don't know. The highest total I've ever had on this thing was around 23,000 gross combination with the travel trailer loaded for bear and the full fuel tank and the side-by-side on top of the bed. So I don't think we're at that level, but I really don't know, because this thing has struck me as way heavier than I would have thought. All right. Hopefully the scale's operational. Oh, rough getting onto the damn scale. Good Lord. Okay, well, we will be back. Let's see if we can do this. She's thinking. Oop, got something. So there we go. Steer axle, front end 4640, drive axle 7860, trailer 6020, gross 18.5. So between all this junk, we're probably running, I got a lot of tongue weight because it's way forward, and which is cool. So, all right, well, 18.5. That's not quite where we were, but not too bad. Trailer weighs about 2,500. Truck's probably 10. So that thing could be 6,000 pounds. Neat. Now we know. That's not what I wanted to do. All right. That works. See? Oops. Don't cut it sharp. There we go. And like I said, my plan is to get the aluminum, the alternator, and the wiring off of that thing, scrap that out separate, and then take this thing to the junk. Try to do that Monday morning, see what we get. I think it'll pay for it, so we'll catch you when we get back home. All right, well, there you go. Combination of about 18,500 pounds, and that makes me think that's about 6,000 based on trailer weight and all that other stuff. It's kind of neat that I only had 6,000 pounds or so, 6,500 on the trailer axles. That means the axles aren't even overweight. They're 3,500 pound axles, but they've held a lot more than that. The tires are E-load rated though, so I wasn't worried about them. They're more than capable of this weight, and they're reasonably new. Alright, and all the rest of the junk. Whew. So, now I guess what we're going to try to do is get all this crap out of the bed and get this stuff off. Set those to the side. Get those out of here. Start removing some other stuff. And we will see where we go from here. But, yeah, not too bad. We'll be back in a few. One of the things I haven't shown yet is how it tacoed the ramp. That one was already a little bit bent from years of use, but this kind of put it past it, so we're going to have to straighten that out because it wouldn't fit back in its slot anymore. The weird part is it didn't bow out the angle iron, it just stretched it, which is pretty wild to me. It's still square, it's just bent. So we exceeded that, but in the grand scheme, if that's all I screwed up on the trailer towing this behemoth, I'm pretty happy with it. So, found some balloons and a sock, if anybody needs a sock. Ugh. Sitting on top of the engine. I think the valve cover is aluminum too, so we're going to snag that off of it. And maybe this intake, this looks aluminum. We're certainly crustier than, different type of crusty than the steel. It is so rusty though, all the fuel lines, everything is just garbage. It's unfortunate, but it's all seized up. Looks like we have had some phenomenal wiring here, which at some point has caught fire. Probably wondered why that didn't run. But yeah, I might see if the, certainly going to get the alternator off of it. It's a beast, and they recycle different. They recycle at a different rate than just junk. So I'm going to try to do that. Worst case, we'll cut it off. Then that, the intercooler, and maybe the valve cover. That should give us all the aluminum. And then there is so much wiring. Oh my goodness, is there wiring? It's all in there. We're going to cut all of that out with bolt cutters and strip the combing off of it. I may keep that because, never mind, it's junk. It's all weather rotted. But, I mean, this is an electrical cable. Oh. Yeah, that was one of the battery cables, and it's a monster. So there's some good copper in here, as well as all of the regular junk. Looks like the transmission is aluminum, but yeah, we're not touching that. We are not touching that. So, alright, back to unloading the truck. Alright, we got those out of the truck. God, they're heavy. All holding there. This one in the front here, that's a Falcon. It's only about 4 years old. It's a 19-year date code. These others, which are Advantage or Advance, I don't know, whatever. Same size, very similar tread, and oh dear, if that goes, we're all gonna die. Oh boy, I guess I shouldn't have stacked them on a hill. But those are all from 10 or 11, the dates. I mean, they didn't, hardly any mileage on them. I mean, you would compare them very favorably to the one that's only 4 years old. But they are not cheap. I doubt anybody would want 13-year-old, 12-year-old tires. But maybe they would want the wheels, because I think these would polish up really well. They're a little scuffy, but what do you want for a damn near, well, let's see, 25-year-old motorhome, 25-year-old wheels. But they look all real nice. So those are going to go up separately. I don't know, probably Facebook Marketplace. There's no way in hell I'm delivering that anywhere or shipping it. That's probably 500 pounds or better of wheels and tires, maybe 700 pounds of wheels and tires. They are extraordinarily heavy. And that's got all the junk out. So, I guess now we can start chopping all the wire off of this mess. Gonna string it out first because it was all laid out front. We flopped it over for the ride back. and see what we got. But I think there's going to be a few bucks worth of copper in that thing, even without taking it down, even without taking the shielding off. I wish I had a wire stripper, because that would be kind of nice. But yeah, so there you go. Next step. Alright, well that's about half of it. So we got more to do. But I could take a break because it's about 100 degrees. And I'm hot. Alright, well we finally got the wiring stripped out of it and the alternator. Killed the bees. That should be interesting to see what all that garbage brings. A lot of wire. Stripped all of the combing off of it and all that other crap. The only thing I've got left at this point is the intercooler, the front turbo housing, if I can get that out of there, and that turbo inlet, because they're all aluminum. Now the intercooler, I tried to break those loose, and it broke my bit. So I'm going to need a hammer, because this is coming off. Unfortunately, I cannot find the hammer that I had with me when we got this thing. And I'm thinking I may have left it either there or on the trailer, and it fell off on our way home. So we're going to have to go get a bigger hammer, take a few whacks at this bad boy, and get that thing out of there. Because although it's not a bad unit, I don't need it. And it's more expensive as aluminum to recycle than as junk. So that's what we got next. Damn. Alright, well that's never coming out. Wow. Some tough stuff. Man. That's tough. Kinda wish I had a torch. Alright. Well, that's less efficient than I had hoped. So, I think we're gonna go get the cutoff wheel and try that. Alright, well we got that nightmare off. Death wheel and a chisel for the win. Yeah. But I was wondering, as we were driving home, what all that grain crusty crap that was collecting in this dead air zone back here was. And now I know. There are no fins left on this radiator. Oh my goodness. That's impressive. I don't want to know what that would cost to replace. But I don't care, that's staying with it. It's going to the junkyard. That cooler off, she's sitting here. And really the only thing left is that turbo housing and the valve cover. But I think I'm going to save those for tomorrow because it's, what is it? Come on. It's about 8 o'clock. and I'm pretty tired. So it's been a pretty good day. We've got a little bit more work to do. Have this thing stripped down to go to the junkyard. And that's about it. But so far I'm pretty happy with it. Got a whole bunch of wire. And that intercooler was no joke. Probably would have been good if I hadn't smashed the shit out of it, but oh well, you'll have that. It's junk anyway, so all that aluminum's going to the scrapyard and the alternator by itself. And that pile of wire, that's probably 40-50 pounds of wire. So we'll be in pretty good shape, I think. And then we can get on to our next adventure, which may be Tuesday. This is Saturday. So anyway, hope you're all having a good day. Take care. Alrighty, final tally. We've got the alternator, the aluminum, which is the intercooler, the valve cover, the turbo, and the inlet to the engine. Found out that the coolant reservoir is brass, I think, some sort of yellow metal, so we're going to recycle that separately. This entire bag is the wiring. I mean, there's some big stuff in there, but we're just going to see what that gets. And the rest of this is going as it is. Looks like it may have been a good engine at one point, because the valve train is pretty damn clean. So most RVs don't have a lot of miles on it. I'd be surprised if this has over 100,000 on it. Pretty well lashed, but the turbo was not in the best shape. Either that or I broke it when I took it apart, but don't care. Garbage. Going to the dump. So we're going to bring this to the junkyard on Monday. Now I got to try to straighten that out so I can use it again. And we will see what we end up with before I sell the wheels. I think I'm going to break even at least before selling these. So I wish I knew somebody that needed them. We got a truck shop down here at the end of the road. I may stop by them and see if I can just, if you want all four of them for $500, they can have them. Well, I may do that. Because they got customers, I'm sure, who would want those, and I don't need them. So, yeah, I think we're going to do all right on this one. We'll see. Then I got another car to go pick up on Tuesday. They're not going to make much on that because it's an old 06 Impala police car, but I got it for $150 or something like that. So we'll make a few dollars on it. It isn't going to be a bust. Ain't going to be like this though. I think we're going to do okay on this one, even with the $180 worth of diesel to go get it. So that radiator might even have some alloy in it, but it's so rusty and I don't even care at this point. There's a limit, and I have reached it. Be interesting to see how they get this off the trailer. I'm hoping they can just grab it with the excavator with the grapple on it, because obviously it ain't going to slide terribly well. And I don't want to taco the ramps again. But we will see what we need to do, and I'll let you know what we end up with. Alright, so we ended up getting about $542, and I get to pick up $65 of that next week because you got a 7-day hold on copper. But that ain't bad, we're ahead. And I haven't even sold the wheels yet. Now we're going to fog up because it's cold in the house and billions of degrees out here. There's the wheels, here comes the fog. And I'm just going to film through it because it is what it is. But one thing I heard is that, well, I said that I think the brakes had failed on me on the trailer while we were coming home from the scale the other day. And I figured I'd just check the wires because I figured they might have broken. And sure enough, the wires did break, but yeah, because this thing, the entire backing plate for the brake unit broke off the axle. That's a new one. Conveniently, nothing got damaged other than that. So I just pulled it off, slapped the bearing back on, and we're good to go. Good Lord. Well, I guess, again, 30 years old. This looks like Dad's writing from something. But, yeah, so... not quite sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to end up having to weld that plate back on because the axle, this is part of the axle. That's not that's not something that comes with it. The brake, this whole assembly here comes with it. This is supposed to stay on the axle. She didn't quite make it. But yeah, I heard something rattling on the way back from the junkyard today, so I figured I'd take a look at it, and sure enough, that's my brake problem. Anyway, she's running good. Tomorrow we're going to go pick up another one, a little junker this time, and toss that in the dumpster. And then hopefully we'll be done for a little bit, because this is getting kind of silly. But anyway, I think that's the end of this one. I'll let you know what we finally sell these things for. I wish all the tires were a little newer, because I think I'd get more money for them, but what the hell, maybe 500 bucks. But we'll end up about, I don't know, 650 bucks up, I think, on this little escapade, and it was kind of fun tearing that thing apart. So, anyway, hope you're all having a good day again. Talk to you all later. Take care.